Okay, so here, like in the last session, we stopped here that
Yeah.
like if we are using class A, if we are using class B, if we are using class C, so like what, how many network will be there in class A and how many host per network will be there in class A. So let's have some information here. Okay, just a second. Okay. So here, first option what we have that find network in class A means how many network will be there in class A.
Yeah.
So first is that class A IP address range is from 0 to 126. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
After
Okay.
that, this is by default. By default, on bits means how many on bits is there? 8 bit is on bits in class A, right?
Yeah. Right.
And this is the binary representation of class A bits. 8 bit
Yeah.
and all is 000 like that.
Okay.
Now, by default, subnet mask of class A will be 255.0.0.0.0.
Mm.
Okay, so in class A, how many network part is there and how many host part?
One network and three hosted.
Host part. Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Now, so our concern part is that how many network will be there in class A. So, what
Mm.
is the formula for it? So, formula is that whenever you see on like this, 1 means on and 0 means off.
Off.
Okay. So here our formula is 2 to the power on bits to find networks. Okay. Now we as a human, I told you that we calculate as a 8 bit, right?
Yeah.
We say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 like that. But when
Okay.
computer count it always start from 0, right?
Right.
So for computer also it is 8 bit, but our formula is saying on bits and 0 is off, right? Okay, so
Right.
how many bits is there?
0 byte.
No, no.
One. So
Total is 8 bit, but 0
eight,
is off. So how many? 7
seven.
here. So 2 to the power 7. So 2 to the power 7 is equal to how many? 128, right?
Eight
So
network. Yeah.
128 networks will be there in class A.
Yeah.
Now, total network is from 0 to 127 in, right? 0 to 127. That's why it is 128. And 0
20.
is not in use. 127 is also not in use. Okay. So
Yeah.
0 is reserved by INA and 127 is reserved for loop back testing. We will check this thing. Okay.
Okay.
So what is the remaining one? Remaining is from 1 to 126 is the valid
Yeah.
network range in class A.
Okay.
Now find host you say or you say IP. Okay. Per network means I have how many network? So you can see here, yes, we have 128 networks. Okay. So in
128.
a single network, right, how many hosts will be there,
Mm.
right? So let's
Right.
find out how many host or IP address will be in a network of class A or in each network of class A. Now by default on bit in class A is this one. This we already know.
Yeah.
This already we know.
Okay.
This is just information. Okay,
Yeah.
now formula is 2 to the power of bit to find how many IP or host per network. Okay, now tell me, here 8 bit was on, right? So how many off bit is there?
24.
24. Very good. So here the formula is saying off bit, so 2 to the power 24 minus 2 is
Mm.
formula is there. I will tell you why minus 2 is there. Okay, So total 2 to the power 24 will be like this: 1677721. 6 minus 2 means 214. IP per network means if you will buy one network of class A, so you can use this much of IP address in your network.
Yeah.
Minus 2 is used for, one is the network ID and one is the broadcast ID.
Okay.
Okay. Now, did you understood? Any question?
Yes,
Because I'm
sir.
going to ask something.
I understand, sir.
Okay. Now let's come for class B. You have your notebook?
Yes, I have my notebook.
Okay. So you know the range of class B, right? 128 to
Yes.
191. And in class B, we are using 16 bit, right? And in
Yeah.
class A, we use 8 bit. Okay.
Okay.
Now, so when you are using 16 bit, so it will be like this: 8.8.00.
Sorry?
When we use 16 bit, right? So it is like
Yeah.
this: 8.8.0.0. Is it okay?
Yes, is it okay?
So subnet mask will be like this:
Yeah, it's okay.
255.255.0.0. So
Yes.
this is common and we already know. Now the question will
Is
come that there will be two network, two host part. This also we know.
yes, it's
Okay.
correct.
Now the
Can
question
you
is
check
coming:
me?
how many network will be in class B?
How
So the
many network?
formula is same. Formula is saying 2 to the power on bits. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now
Yeah.
always keep in mind that yes, we have 4 octet, right?
Yeah.
So when we talk about network, so we only consider this 2 bit, right? 2 octet.
Right. Right.
So and this octet is also separated separately, right? One octet, second octet. So the
Yes.
calculation will be separately. Okay. So let's
Okay.
calculate the first octet for. Okay. So here we have to find that how many on bit will be in the first octet. Tell me.
Yeah. Uh, 128.
Yes, but how many on bit according to formula? I know there is 8 bit, but according to formula, how many on bit is there?
8.
No, my friend. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7.
0, we see it is 8 bit, but system count as 0 as a off.
Off. Off. Off.
So how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So how many bit in one
7.
octet?
7.
7. So here is 7 and here is
7
7.
again.
So how many on bit? 14, right? 2
1.
to the power 14,
Okay.
right?
Okay. Okay.
Yes. So how many network will be there? So there will be 16,384 networks will be there.
Okay.
Okay. Now, and you
Okay.
know that in class A we had around 126 network, but here see 16,384.
Okay.
But this network capacity is bigger. A class A network capacity is large, but class B network capacity is this medium. Okay.
Major. Okay.
Yes. So in a class B network, there will be 16,384 networks. Now you'll say, no, I want to use one network because I want to use in my company. So if I use one network, so how many IP address I can use
I
in
can
class B
use.
one network?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, how many host or IP address will be in class B? This also we know. This is a common information. Okay. So the formula is 2 to the power of bit. Okay. Now
Okay.
what is the off bit here? How many off bit is there?
16.
16. So 2 to the power 16 minus 2. So 65,336 minus 2 will be 65,534 IP address in a single network of class
Network.
B.
Okay.
But in class A we had around 16 something 16 million, right?
Mm,
Yes.
16 million.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Now class C. Class C, we use 192 to 223 and we have 24 bits here. So if it is 24 bits, the subnet mask will be like this, right?
Right.
Okay. Now here there will be 3 network and 1 host part. So here if I am asking, here you have all information here with this information, and you have the formula. If you want network, right? So the formula is 2 to the power on bits,
Mm-hmm.
and for host
Only.
formula is 2 to the power of bit minus 2, right?
Right.
Yes. So for class C, please give me the answer. How many network and how many host per network? You have formula. This is for network and this is for host.
Um,
Okay, okay. So let's match. Okay, if you're done then. So okay. So 2 to the power on bits, right?
yeah.
Okay. So when we have 2 to the power on bit, okay. So here I already told you that the IP address octet works separately. So the calculation will be also separately, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So how many on bits is there?
7, 7, 7.
Yes, very good. So total
21.
21. So it's okay, very good. So 2 to the power 21. So did you got the networks?
Yes, but I don't make the calculate of that to have the answer. But I
Okay.
have not only
See, let
have
me show you the
two.
calculator how to use it. It's very simple. You come to the calculator and select here scientific, okay? This one, scientific.
Yeah.
And here
Okay.
in this scientific, you write here 2 to this one,
Okay.
x to the
Okay.
power y, okay? 2 to the power
Yeah.
21, okay? And write it
Yeah.
here equal to, see,
Okay.
okay?
Okay.
Now 2 to the power 21, okay?
Okay.
Even like this also you can write. Even in your keyboard also you have this key, this one, greater sign, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So we got the network. Now we have to work on host part, right?
Okay.
Okay. So what is the formula for host? So the formula for
Host
host is 2 to the power.
2 to power 8 minus 2.
Okay, very good. Okay, so you this is 2 to the power 8 means 2 to the power 8 is 256 minus 2 is
Yeah.
254.
Okay.
Okay, so you got it. No problem.
Yes, I got. I
Yes.
got it.
Now we have to work on like network part and host part, like see. So in class A we have 128 network, and this is the this network this host part what we are writing, it is this host is in per network, so you can multiply it to find that okay how many host in class A, right?
In class.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is for a single network, so if you want
Network.
multiply it, and if you want you can multiply it, right? Now you can
Yeah.
see here the capacity of class A network is larger than class B and class C, right? So
Right.
if you will work as a network administrator or network engineer, so if someone will ask that okay I have a large network and I want to assign IP address, so you will say okay what is the capacity of your network? So you will say okay my capacity is around 100,000. So you say okay then you can go for class A. Someone will say
Okay.
no my capacity is around 50,000 users, okay?
Okay.
So you can say okay
Yeah.
you can go for class B.
Class B.
Yes. And if someone
Okay.
will say that okay my capacity is only 200, 250 users, so you can say that okay you can go for class C.
C.
Now here like the range is there that okay if I'm using class A what will be the range? Okay, so the range
Mm.
start from 0 to 127.00. So we already know that 0 is reserve and 127 is also reserved for loopback testing. So the valid
Yeah.
IP address is from 1 to 126.
26.
Okay. Now
Okay.
class A is used for unicasting, class B is also used for unicasting, class C is also
Interesting.
used for unicasting. Unicasting means one-to-one communication,
Yeah.
and multicasting is one to a group communication, and broadcasting
Communication.
is one to all communication.
Okay.
Okay. Now, so here same thing, unicast means like if I which class can support unicast IP addressing. So class A will support, class B will support, and class C will also support unicast addressing. And unicast means
Yeah.
one to one communication, right?
Yeah.
And
Right.
always keep in mind that whenever we talk about any IP addressing, so the first octet will define your class, only first octet. You do not have to worry about second, third, fourth octet. Okay.
Right.
Yes. Now multicast. So multicast is similar as a broadcast, but it is not fully broadcast. It's a partial broadcast, you can say. And the multicast is used to send message to one to a specific group, not to all. Like see, so
Mm.
this red man, okay. So you can see here this red man is sending message only to the green one, not yellow, right?
Okay. Not yellow.
Okay, so this multicast address will be supported only via some specific protocol and services.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so now we are moving to broadcast. So broadcast is what? Broadcast is a address through which you can send message to everyone in a
Yeah.
network. So see here,
Yeah.
this red guy is sending message to each and everyone, right?
Everyone.
Now,
Right.
so what will be the broadcast address? So the every last IP address of your network is known as a broadcast address. Okay.
Yeah.
And broadcast address you can get from any network, from any class A, B, C. Okay. But multicast address or you can get only from class D. Okay. Now you cannot assign broadcast address to the system. Okay. Because it is default reserved for that specific network communication and network broadcast communication. Okay.
Okay.
Now here we have some question that okay, find network ID and broadcast ID of this IP address. So suppose we are using some IP address, right? So this is your
Yeah.
IP address 15.192.168.10. So if this is your IP address, so if someone will ask, okay, what is the network ID and broadcast ID? Means what is the first IP and the last IP of this IP address what you have. So suppose this is your IP address. So what is the network ID? So always keep in mind, I told you network ID is the first IP address of any network and broadcast is the last IP of any network.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So what will be the first IP address of this?
15 192.168.0
No. See here.
or 15. Yeah. 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 Okay. See.
Okay.
Okay.
Now tell me for second one.
Is 190.0.0.0.
190.
0.0.0.
No, this belongs to which class?
Class B.
Class B. So class B
Yeah.
has two network, right?
Yeah.
And two
Okay.
host. So always keep in mind network ID means host part all will be 0. Okay.
Okay.
Broadcast
Yeah.
means all host part will be 255. But we
Yeah.
cannot modify anything in network. Network is default.
Okay.
So for 2 is like this. See.
Okay.
Okay. Now tell me for third one.
Third one is 200.100.
200.100. No,
Yeah.
200 belongs to which class?
Class B.
200 belongs to class B or class C?
It's class C.
Yes. So when
200.110.
200.110. Very good. And broadcast?
Yes. 201,
Yes.
2,
Host part will be 0 in network and host part will be 255 in response of
this one.
broadcast. Okay.
Yeah.
Now the number 4.
The number 4 is 10,000 and 10, 25, 25, 25. 25, 25, 25. Sorry.
Yes, very good. Number 5.
Number 5 is 22100.
Uh,
And
okay.
the broadcast is 222.1.0.255
Very good.
because class C.
Yeah. Number 6.
Number 6 is class B 172
Yes.
1600
Okay. And
and
broadcast.
1716 2525.
Okay. And the last one is this IP also belongs to which class?
Class B
Class B. Very good. So it will be
and
182.168.00 and
0.
182.168.255.255. Right?
Yeah, right.
Now the question will come. Find the usable IP. See, network IP, the IP what we have discussed here. Can we use this IP address for
For
communication
the
purpose?
no, no,
Can we use this IP address for communication purpose?
no, no.
No. Okay. So here it is asking, so which IP address I can use? If my IP address is this one, right? So
Okay.
what will be the first IP, usable IP, and the last usable IP of this
The
family?
first
Yes. So tell me.
is 15 192
No.
16. The, the first
Before
IP
before 192, there is no any other number.
before, yes, there is a number
Yeah.
is 111.
Mm, no. See, let me give you example of the first one. See, this is the first usable IP address and the last usable IP.
IP address. Oh,
Okay. Can I show you all this practical? Let me show you the practical, then you will understand. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So suppose if I'm here, if I'm using two computer here. Now, so the IP address what I said that's 15.192.168.10. So if you want to assign this IP address to this system, so I'll come here to desktop IP configuration 15.192.168.10. So if I'm clicking here to this, so this IP belongs to class A, right?
Right.
Okay, fine. Good. Now, but if same IP address if I want to assign, okay, so what IP address I can assign? Can I assign this IP address? The what we see. This is your IP address. So what is the network ID? 15.0.0.0. What is the broadcast? 15.255.255.255. Right? Okay.
Yeah.
So can we assign this IP address anywhere? Let's find. So this is your network ID and this is your broadcast ID.
Broadcast.
Okay. So let's come to know that whether we can assign this IP address or not. So 15.0.0.0. If we click here, it is saying invalid IP address. Now it's saying, okay, can we use this IP address 255.255.255?
Not valid.
Invalid IP address. So
Yeah.
which IP address I can use? So what is the range? What IP address I can use? Because I cannot use 15.1, right? So here
Yeah.
between network ID is there is some first IP. So what will be the first IP? 15.0.0.1. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Then the
Okay.
last IP will be, you can say last IP will be 15.255.255.254.
4.
Yes. And now if we are coming here to this slide, so here I am asking what is the first IP address and the last IP address of this network. So the first IP address is this one and the last is this one. Now you tell me
Okay.
about this one. What is the first IP and the last IP of this IP?
The first IP is 190.172.0.1.
Very good.
The last is 190.172.255.254.
Okay, fine. You know then.
The
Okay.
class B.
Yes.
Yeah.
What about, can you tell me about this one, number 5?
Number 5
Yes.
um, is 222.
Okay.
101 is the first address.
Okay.
The last is 222.1.255.254.
o- Okay. And now tell me about the number 7 one.
The number 7
Yes.
is 182
Okay.
168
Okay.
01. The last is 182.168.255.254.
Okay. 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 Now we have some binary classification. Okay.
Okay.
In this binary classification, we'll come to know that, like suppose if we have some decimal IP address, right? Okay.
Right.
So how
Okay.
we are going to convert that decimal IP address into binary? Okay.
Binary. Yeah.
Yes. So remember in our class I told you that we have to always remember this. Okay. This chart is very much important and this chart will be used everywhere, right?
Mm.
Okay. And this chart is the combination of 8 bit. So this is our IP address and we want to convert this IP address into binary, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So binary is the representation of like it's a bits and bits represent like 0 and 1, right?
Right.
10 10 0 1 1 1 like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, so when we talk about this is your IP address, right?
You're right.
85.5.191.1. So if I want to find what is the binary representation of 85, okay? So how we will get it? Okay, now if I want to find 85, so this is your number, this is the number with the help of this chart, you have to find 85. So if I'll give you this number and tell you that okay, you can add to make 85. So which number you will pick from this table to make 85? Tell me.
For that table, I can pick 64,
Okay, very good.
16,
Okay,
4,
okay,
and 1.
1, right? Okay, so let's take your calculator. 64 plus
Yeah,
16,
plus
4 and 1, right?
4 and
Plus
1.
4 plus 1, right? Then you say
Right.
it, see, you got 85, right?
Yeah,
So the number which hasn't matched, those will be 0 0 like this. Okay,
okay.
so this is the binary representation of 85. See,
Yeah,
0 1 0 1 0 1 0 1.
okay.
Okay, now for 5, tell me for 5.
For 5, 5 I take only 4 and 1.
4 and 1, other will be 0.
Other will be 0.
Okay, now what about 191?
191, 191 I take 124.
128.
Sorry, 128.
Okay,
128. 128. I
see,
take
if
it
we will take this 64, right? So it will become 192.
192.
So we cannot take this 64, right? So we'll
We
take
cannot take,
128. Okay,
we take,
32,
yeah,
16, 8, 4, 2, 1 to make it 191.
okay.
Okay, and what
And
about 1?
1, we take only the first,
Yeah, only 1 and all will be 0, right?
right.
Yes. So you can see here, see, like this. Okay. So did you understood how to convert that
Yes, yes, I
any
know, sir.
decimal number to?
Yeah, to
Okay.
binary. Yes, I can. I understand.
Okay. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you one IP address here. Okay. So this is the IP address 66.94.29.13. So please convert this one into binary.
Yes.
66. First you find out for 66.
66 is the second bait.
No, you just take your notebook. This chart is in front of you. You just take a notebook and tell me, okay, the binary representation of 66 is 0110 whatever. Okay.
Okay. For 16 is
Okay.
01000010.
No, for 66, which number
Yes.
you have taken?
I've finished all the IP address in
Okay, so okay,
decimal.
so for 66, what is the binary? Tell me.
0,
Okay,
1,
okay,
0,
yes,
0, 0, 0,
yes,
1, 0.
okay, very good. Okay, now give me for 94.
94,
Yeah,
0,
okay,
1,
okay,
0,
okay,
1,
okay,
1,
Okay.
1
Okay.
1 0.
Okay. Okay. Now for 29.
29 0 0
Yes.
1 1 1
No, no, no. 0 0 0 30, right?
for 20 30 30
Yeah. Okay. Then
1
yes.
1
Okay.
1
Okay.
0 1.
Okay. Okay. And the last one, 13.
The last one 0 0 0 0
Okay.
1 1 0 1.
Okay. 1 1 0 1. Okay. Fine.
1.
So the same thing now, same thing here. It's the step how we have calculated. So first of all, we took this table, okay, and this is the calculation. Okay, 60. The first one 66. So we added 64 and 2 together to make 66, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay. So the calculation is like this, right? So the same
Yes.
calculation what here. Okay.
Okay.
So second step is for 94. Okay, 94 is like this: 64 16 8 4 2 to make 94. Okay, so the number where it is matching, that will be 1, and the number where it is
Yeah.
not matching, it will be 0.
0.
Okay, now
Okay.
29. Okay, after that we have 13. Okay,
Okay.
okay, now here I have some assignments, right? Okay,
Right.
so like if I'll give you this number
Mm.
117, right?
Yeah.
So if it is 117, so what will be the decimal representation in binary? This 117 will be, what will be in binary? So this is objective. You can select and you can let me know. Okay.
Okay.
Here, if we have this binary, so what will be in decimal? Okay.
In decimal.
Here also, if we have this decimal, so what will be in binary? Okay.
Okay.
And here also, if we have this number in decimal, what will be in the binary? Just for refreshing yourself. So if you know, you can refresh yourself, right?
Okay, right.
Okay. Now here, this is another assignment. You can see here student task. So this is the decimal IP address, right? You have to convert this decimal IP address into
Binary.
binary, and then
Yeah.
you have to share with me. Okay, you can make this in your notebook, or you can take a snap and you can put it in doc file, MS
Okay.
Word file, and then you can put it there and you can convert and you can send those
Okay.
assignments. So just for knowing that, yes, you know it, you know how to calculate it. Because see, when you will work, this is not important. But when you will teach someone, it is important to know yourself, right?
Right.
Because if you don't know, how you can teach someone? Okay.
Okay.
And
Okay.
second thing that sometime in interview also they ask that, okay, this is decimal, can you convert into binary?
Yeah, yeah.
And I have given you the easiest of, formula, right, to calculate.
To calculate, I have it.
Okay. Now here we have some condition of communication. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So this condition of communication. Okay. So now when we talk about the, like when PC1 wants to communicate to PC2, right? Here
Right.
PC1 wants to communicate to PC2. So
Mhm.
what condition PC1 will follow and what condition PC2 will follow? So they should
Mhm.
communicate, right?
Right.
So the first option here, we have some options listed here. So the first one is IP address class must match.
Must match.
Yes, so if you belong to class A and I also belongs to class A, then we can communicate. The first condition.
Yeah.
Second condition is saying here that IP address network part must match. Means
Yeah.
if I'm using 10.0.0.1 IP address, so this part 10, the network part must match for communication. After that,
Yeah.
host part is not required.
Okay.
Okay. Now, say third part is saying here that both computer IP address cannot be same in the same network.
Same.
Means if I belongs to same company, so inside same company our IP address cannot be same, otherwise we will get some IP conflict error, right?
Yeah. Right.
Now, number 4, in any class IP address all host part cannot be 0. This all host part
Yeah.
will be 0, then it will be network ID, right?
Right.
Okay. Then if I'm talking about fifth option is saying that in any class IP address all host part cannot be 255. So if it will be 255, then it will become broadcast address.
Must address.
Yes. So you cannot communicate with the help of network ID, you cannot communicate with the help of broadcast ID. So you
Yeah.
cannot use these IP address what is written here.
Okay.
Okay. Now come. Now you have some lab 1 here. Okay. So if you have PC1 here, okay, and here you have PC2. Now if you have this IP address 10.10.10.2 and here you have IP address 10.20.20.2, would you be able to communicate?
Yes,
How?
because the IP address is not the same range. Is not in same range. We have
Yes, different,
different
and
range,
they
but
belong to same class and network is also matching, right?
is yeah.
Okay, very good. Now come to second.
The second,
Yes, number second.
uh, the computer it cannot communicate
Okay, why?
because the network is different.
Very good. Okay, number 3.
Number three, is the same is it cannot communicate.
Okay, number 4.
Number four, yes, it can communicate.
5.
Number five, yes, it can communicate.
Number 5, 190,
Yeah,
169.
or
Okay,
90.
fine.
No,
Yeah, it's okay. Class B.
class B.
Yes. Okay, number 6.
Number six, class C. The network is different. It
Okay.
cannot communicate.
Number 7.
Number seven, very different. It cannot communicate.
8.
Number eight, is the same address.
Yes. So if it is same, you cannot communicate because you will receive IP
Yeah.
conflict error message, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 9.
Number nine, it can communicate because it's the class A.
Okay. Number 10.
Number number 10, also it can communicate.
It's 127 address. So you cannot assign this IP address. So if you,
Is for
yeah,
that. Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
So
yeah.
if you cannot assign, let me give you the example. So if I'm coming here, 127. dot 0.0.1. See, invalid IP address.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So no communication.
No communication.
Number 11.
Number 11. Yes, it can communicate.
Check both IP
It's
address, PC1 IP and PC2 IP.
plus you are no, it can communicate, but the PC2 is taking the broadcast address.
Yes. No communication, right?
No communication.
Okay. Now let's come to lab 2. Okay. This is our lab 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Here PC IP address is 10.10.10.0 and PC2
Mhm.
IP address is 10.20.20.255. Now tell me whether both system will communicate or not. If
For the
yes,
subnet.
you have to tell me why. If no, then why. And it's they are using default subnet mask, no subnetting.
Yeah. I think for this.
Okay, let me give you some idea.
Yeah.
See, normally whenever a student checks some see some IP address, and when they see some 0 and 255, they always
Yeah.
think that this IP address is invalid IP, right?
Yeah.
But not all IP is invalid. It's not that okay, whenever you see last 0 it's invalid or last 255 is invalid. Okay, so let's see how to identify. So if I'm using class A, so what is
Yeah.
the subnet mask is like this, right?
00.
So
Yeah.
how many network part and how many host part?
One
One
network and
network,
three
three
hosts.
host, like this, right?
Yeah.
So whenever we write any IP address like 10.0.0.0, so how many is network and how many host? One network, three host, right?
Yeah.
So it's saying that in host area, in host area or in host part, you can say in host octet or octet, all part cannot be 000. Okay, but
Okay.
if I'm using 10.0.10.0, yes, I can use, because here is option is saying that all host octet cannot be 0. So here how
Okay.
many host octet you have? 3, but I can use 20 but not 30.
Okay.
Okay, here also you can see 10.0.0.10, no problem, it's a good IP address. 10.10.0.0, no problem. 10.10.10.0, no problem. See, here also I am using 0, right? But
Right.
this is a valid IP address. Let me show you here. See, 10.10.0.0.
Okay.
Here I am
Well,
coming 10.10, 10.20.0.0. No problem. See. And if you will come to this computer and check command prompt ipconfig. What is IP? Your IP 10.10.00, right?
right.
Yes. And if you want to ping 10.20.0.0, see, you are pinging.
Yes.
Okay. So now This is the first option. Second option is saying that in all host area cannot be 255 also, but you can use 10.0.255.255, no problem. 10.255.255.0, no problem. 10.255.0.255, any IP address, but always keep in mind host part. How many host part is there in class A?
Class A.
Yeah,
3.
3. So all host part cannot be 0 and all host part
Yeah.
cannot be 255.
Okay.
But you can use 255.20, no problem. Like this.
Yeah.
10.0.0.255, no problem.
Okay.
Okay, if you want, I can show you this also. In the part of 0, we can use 255. 255. Here also come. 255, 255. Check your IP address. Your IP is 10, 10, 255, 255. If you want to ping 10.20.255.255, yes, you are communicating.
Right.
But if you will try to put this IP address, wrong IP address like this, 255, then it is wrong, invalid.
Invalid.
Understood? Yes. Okay, so now you understood, right?
Yes, I understand, but I have a question there, sir.
Okay, tell me.
See, only for the class A or it's for all classes?
All class, all
All
class.
class.
Yes, yes. I was just giving example of if you want to talk about class B,
Okay.
class B is 255.255.0.0. One network, two network, like this, right?
Mm,
Okay,
right.
so if I'm writing 172.10.0.0 wrong, 172.10.255.255 is wrong. But if I'm writing 172.10.0.255, no problem. 172.10.255.0, no problem.
Okay.
Now if I'm
Okay.
talking about class C, okay, so class
Okay.
C is 192.168.10.0 wrong, because there is only single net host part, right?
Yeah, right.
Yes, so in class C it's not difficult. See, it's wrong. But apart from this, you can use any IP address. So in class C, there will be no single 0 and no single
Yeah.
255. But here,
Fine.
yeah, here we can have two. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
see, here we have two host part. So
Host
that's
part.
why one is allowed. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
but not 2 255. In class
Okay.
A, three host parts, so 2 255 is allowed and 20 is allowed, but not 30 is allowed and not 3255 is allowed.
Right.
Okay, okay. So now
Okay.
let's come to this one, number one.
Yeah.
Okay, so what will be the answer of this one? Whether it will communicate or not?
Mm, the PC one is good. Yes, it can communicate.
Okay, very good. What about number two?
Number two. Number two. Number two. Number two. No,
No,
because
very
every yeah
because it is using 220 in the host area, right?
yeah
That's why it is wrong. Okay, very good. So what you do, okay, some answers is there, but this is also assignment, okay. So this
yeah
also what you have to do, see how you have to make assignments. Like when we come to lab 1, you write this, and just below this in your notebook you write, okay, why they will
yeah.
communicate.
Okay,
Okay, number 2, below this you write, okay, why this will not communicate, what is the problem, network is not
okay,
matching or something is problem, okay. Same here,
okay.
why this will communicate and why this will not communicate, why this will communicate, like this you have to write. So I will understand that
Right.
yes, you understood very well, okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I hope you have understood this one, right?
Right.
Okay, now tell me about this one, number 9 and number 8.
Number 9 and number 8.
Yeah,
Number 8,
yeah,
uh, because it's use the back loop address.
yeah, loop back address, that's why it won't able to communicate. Okay, number 9.
Yeah, number 9. Uh, number 9. It's use 205.
Where is 2? So it's they are using 205 but not 255, right? 205 is
Not
allowed.
205 is not 255.
205 is different and 255 is different.
Yeah,
255 is not allowed, but 205 is allowed.
205 is allowed for the subnet mask.
No, that is IP, that is not subnet mask.
Ah, okay, okay, okay. That's the IP. Um, I think for the using subnet mask. I'm lost there.
Now, see, PC1 problem. Host part, I said in class C there is no single zero.
Okay, okay,
And
okay.
here, this is okay. Class PC2 IP is no problem.
It's
There is
no
no problem
problem.
for it. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, number 10.
Number 10, and the problem is the PC2.
Yes,
The last
very good. Yes.
octane zero.
PC1 no problem. Okay, number 11.
Number 11, no problem is okay. It can communicate.
Okay, very good. So now you know IP address very well. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Now, so in IP address, there are some options. There are something when you will start working in IP address, then you will come to know. Okay.
yeah,
So IP address is divided into two sector, public sector and private sector. Public means WAN area and private means LAN area.
yeah,
Okay. Now, so the IP what we use on our WAN interface, that is public IP for internet communication, and inside our private LAN or private network we use private IP address, right?
yeah.
So these private IP address is reserved by INA for internet access. Means like when you buy some public IP, okay, maybe
Yeah.
like inside your organization you have 100 computers, and all these 100 computer wants to access internet, right? So
Internet.
are you going to buy all 100 IP address for all 100 computers from ISP? No.
No.
Yeah, it will cost a lot. So what we will do, we'll buy a single IP address that will be public IP, and here we will use some router, and this router will be acting as a NAT router, and this NAT router will help this all 100 IP to go outside to internet access.
Yeah.
So but here it is, here inside your private network which IP address is allowed to be used for internet access. So these IP address is given here from A B C class. Okay, and these are the range is allowed to go outside for internet access. They cannot go outside, but they will come to NAT router and it will be converted to public IP and they can go. But these IP address you can use only when you have public IP, when you have public IP from ISP. It's not that
Yeah.
when you are using private IP address and you can access internet.
Mhm.
Okay.
Right.
Slowly you will come to know about all this.
Okay.
Okay. See the same example, the use of public and private IP. Public is for internet access, private is for private communication, means internal communication. But this private IP address wants to access internet, so it will come to the router and router will use some NAT mapping, and with the help of this NAT mapping, this private IP address user can go outside for internet access with the help of
Okay.
public IP. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So these are some scope where we can use private IP address and where we can use public IP address. Okay, so private IP address is used for local network and public IP is used for WAN internet
Global.
communication. Yes. Okay, these are the range what we are using here. Okay, these are
Yeah.
like, and what is the range of public IP? So except private, all is public. Okay, and who gave you private IP address? So the network engineer have option to use private IP address from class A, B, C. Okay,
Okay.
okay, and public IP address you can buy from ISP, internet service provider.
Yeah.
Okay, now we have to know about APIPA address. What is APIPA? Have you heard about APIPA address ever?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, now you know that our system get IP address from DHCP server, right?
Yeah. Right.
So whenever our system get IP from DHCP server, and if DHCP server will fail, then
Yeah.
then your system will generate one APIPA IP from this range, automatic private IP address. Okay, let me show you. Suppose this is a computer, maybe this computer is asking for IP address from DHCP server and there is no DHCP server, so it's requesting for IP address, and after some time you'll see that it has some IP address 169.254. It is very visible.
Yes, it's visible.
Okay, so let me show you here desktop command prompt, and if you type here ipconfig, see here it is not showing IP. Okay, yes, 169.254. So this IP address is automatic. Here it's written here, auto configuration IPv4 address, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is the range, and this IP address is a temporary IP address. When your DHCP will come back, automatically you will get the original DHCP IP address what you are receiving from your DHCP server.
But there you cannot have access on the network.
Yes, you can communicate. Okay, let me
You
give you
can
example.
communicate.
Yes. You can
Okay.
communicate to other computers in the network, but you cannot communicate to internet. Let me show you. What is your IP
Okay.
address? 169.254.73.108. Let's come here, DHCP. Okay, so if I'm coming to this computer and I want to communicate to the another computer, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let me show you. So I'll type here ping 169.254.99.24. Yes, you are communicating to this computer PC2.
Yeah.
See, so you will be able to communicate inside your LAN, but you cannot communicate outside your LAN.
Outside. Yeah.
Yes, means see, if your internet is down, if your server is down, so at least internal communication will work,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Instead of nothing, at least you are communicating internally, right?
Right.
Yes. Okay, these are some reserve IP addresses. 00 is for default routing, 001 and 2000255 is reserved by ANA for its local ID. 127 is loopback. 10 170 to 192, this range. Okay,
Is
this is
private.
for your private IP addressing. This is APIPA, and this I already told you, all host part cannot be 0 and cannot be 255, right?
Right. Right.
Okay, here IP address some role, like see, unicast. Unicast IP means that IP address can be assigned on a single system, right?
Right.
Multicast, that IP address can be assigned to a group of system, but that IP address is a part of class D. Broadcast
Yeah.
IP address, you cannot assign that IP address because this IP address is used for sending some broadcast message to the network, to the specific network, right?
Right.
Okay. Loopback, we already know about this loopback address. Link local address is known as a PIPA address. This one, 169.254.
Yeah.
Okay, this 00 is used for default routing. This is the broadcast address. Okay, and this is whole broadcast address, all IP broadcast, and this is a specific network broadcast address. Just for example, this is not important. If you know, it's okay. Okay,
The
now, yeah. Any question?
no, no, no.
Okay. Now, do you know what is subnet mask? We always talk about subnet mask, right? So what is the use of subnet mask? See, every class will have some subnet mask, right? Class A, class B, class C, right?
Right.
So what is the use of subnet mask? See, subnet mask is used for identifying the network capacity, that okay, I can communicate to 100 people, 200 people, right? Subnet mask will help you to identify that yes, if I'm trying to communicate to PC2, whether that PC2 belongs to a same network or a different network. Subnet
Okay.
mask will help you to identify the class of your network, like yes, you belong to class A, B, C, right?
Right.
Yes. So these are the benefits of subnet mask.
Yeah.
Okay, now what is default gateway?
The
Ha,
default gateway,
yeah,
I think, is an address who can take all the range.
yeah, default gateway. Like see, if if you are here and I'm here and we both wants to communicate, so do we need to have a default gateway IP address in our system? Like see, when we assign IP address, we have this option, right?
Right.
IP configuration, we have this default gateway, right? Okay,
Right.
so whenever you want to communicate within a LAN, do you need default gateway IP address?
No.
No. So whenever you want to communicate to another computer in another network, then you need default gateway.
Yeah.
Okay, and
Okay.
default gateways, it will help you to forward packet from one network to another network. Okay,
Okay.
and default gateway can be your router, can be your firewall, can be your server. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
okay. Now what is DNS server? Have you heard about DNS?
DNS.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what is the use of DNS server?
The DNS server is a server who contains the the name of the IP address, or mixed the name to the IP address, I think.
Yes, yes. See, DNS is one kind of database where you will have all internet address information. Like
Yeah.
suppose if you want to communicate Google, but do you know Google address? No.
No.
So if you don't know Google address, then how you will communicate? So who is helping you to communicate? This DNS server, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, and see, in this Cisco network and security, we will have just normal DNS information, but we will configure DSCP, okay? But no DNS.
Okay.
Okay, okay. What is DSCP?
DHCP
Yes.
is a server who give automatically the IP address to the host or equipment on the
Yes.
network.
Yes. 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 Okay. Very good. Okay. Now, if we want to assign IP address to computer, right?
Right?
Okay. So how many methods you have to assign IP to computer?
I think is that three method.
Yeah.
You can give
Static. Static means
automatically
manual.
manual, automatically by DHCP,
Okay.
and
Very
dynamically, sorry, and automatically by people.
Apipa, right?
People, right?
Yes.
Yes,
And
when the DHCP
yes.
is shut down, I don't know if I can.
Yes. Very good.
Okay.
And here we have some other technique to enlarge IPv4 address. Why we here it's talking about enlarge? Because IP address total we have 4.2 billion, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and population of our world is more than 7.6. So how the ISP is managing to provide IP address to each and every people, right, on this planet?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so there are some technique like NAT is the technique, CIDR, VLSM. Okay, and after that they have implemented IPv6. So many companies they are using IPv6 also. Okay,
Okay. Yeah.
okay. So here we are done with our IP address session. Okay,
Okay.
slowly we'll be moving to our next modules. But
Yeah.
I hope you have understood this IP section, right?
Right. Right, sir. I understand it.